Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence of Sound and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thank you so much for checking us out once again. You know the drill. If you like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We put out 3 new interviews every single week, a brand new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. And speaking of those favorite artists, I've got a legend right now. Hello to Mr. Tommy Lee. How are you, sir?
Hey, Kyle, what's up? Dang, you sound like a busy dude. You're doing this all the time.
All the time, man. All the time.
Cool.
250 of these a year.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me. This is cool.
I'm so excited to have you. First off, congratulations on this record with Andro. Such a fun, powerful listen. I mean, this is a great little, I won't say little project. This is a great, huge record that you've done. Congrats.
Thank you so much, man. That makes me really happy that you enjoy it, man. Everyone's digging it. I get extremely happy when people enjoy it, because I certainly enjoyed making it. So I always hope that, in return, people enjoy it as much as I did making it, because it was that fun.
Yeah. And to set it up, so what you've done here, You've got a record with all of these different sounds, but you've tapped a lot of new artists to take the vocals on it. And yes. You've got a massive Rolodex. I mean, you could have called anybody famous that you wanted to. Why did you decide to go this route?
Yeah, and I've done that before with Methods of Mayhem. I went down that route and went off my collaboration list of people I've always wanted to work with. Which was super rad. I loved that. This time, I've added people to the list of people that I would like to work with, people that I've been following. And I'm like, God, this person's amazing. I really love what they do. One day I'd like to do something with them. And they get on the list. And so and a lot of them on the record, most of them are people you may or may not have heard of. And so in the process, when I'm writing and working on a record, I'll have a track, about midway through, and all of a sudden it'll be like, ding, ding. Oh, so-and-so would just murder this. And I'll reach out to them, send them what I've got. And, a few days later, we'll be either here collaborating on it or be doing the beauty of the internet, be doing vocals in some studio in the UK, via that process. So it's been a pretty wild experience. But yes, a lot of underdogs, people you may or may not have known. And I dig that because, I feel like I'm getting to turn maybe some people onto something they haven't heard before, or an artist that they're like, whoa, this is really cool. Well, yeah, they are cool.
which is awesome to have that kind of platform and to do that for artists. I mean, God knows there's so much competition and so much noise out there to try to break through it. So what are you looking for then? I mean, and maybe that's an unanswerable question, because maybe it's one of those things when you hear it, you know it. But do you find that you're looking for certain qualities in these artists that you want to help?
Well, I'm not really looking for any certain qualities. It'll be something that attracts me. It'll be like, oh my God, her voice is, it's insane. I get goosebumps, or it'll be like somebody like Kilvane who can rap insanely and has got this screamo thing, or push, that South African firecracker style she's got. These are people that I've heard, in the last few years, and I've went, I got to do something with them. Mm. I have to. So I'm usually attracted to, stylistically something they've done or something they've sang, or,
Right. There's a lot, especially the first huge chunk of the beginning of the record. I mean, there's a lot of hip hop on here, and that's something that you've been revolving in your world for a very long time. I mean, you mentioned Methods of Mayhem a little bit ago. I wonder, for the way hip hop has changed through the years, and for a lot of these artists to especially be a little bit younger, have you noticed what they're doing? Does it still fit in the same way with how you work, their styles? Have you had to, change the way you write a song to meet what they do, or vice versa?
No, because I think, well, hip hop, rap, whatever you want to call it, it's all beat driven, very beat driven. And probably I would assume that most of that starts with beats. And just because of the sheer simplicity. I mean, most hip hop is a big beat and maybe a instrument or two, maybe a bass or a synth or some weird horns or a sample or something, but very simple. So it's always beat driven. And me being a drummer, that's kind of, I'm not saying that's where I always start, but when it comes to those, those style of tracks, it's pretty much inspired or started by me, making a beat going, oh yeah, this is the shit, and if it's moving me, chances are, that's what I do. It's my job. Chances are if it's moving me, it's going to move you.
There's lots of that on here. Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. I did want to ask, there was a part maybe a couple years ago, I feel like I remember you teasing that there would be another Methods of Mayhem record. And I started to wonder, did this take the place of that? Did some of that end up in this record?
Yes. You know what? I mean, because it's funny because I just had this big body of work that I've just kept working on, and I thought it was going to be Methods. Then it kind of wasn't, and I didn't really. I had no title, no nothing. It just hadn't come to me yet, and until I went to go. Once the record was done, I went to go sequence the record. This is a fun story. I'll try to condense it a bit. I went to go sequence the record, meaning like, okay, I want this track to open, next track, this track, that track doesn't work. Let's try this one. Nah, that key is weird with this key. Like I would got really frustrated trying to sequence the record. Nothing was really making me go, that's it. Until I separated the female energy and the male energy. And I literally, that was not planned. It was just my last resort. I was like, maybe they're just meant to live on their own sides, like kind of like an old school LP, right? And the second I did that, dude, I was like, this is it. And hence the title Andro came, short for androgyny, half male, half female. And I was like, this is what it's meant to be. It completely organically happened. I had nothing to do with it, all by mistake. I love when that happens.
Right. Well, I'm glad you said that, because I figured that's where andro did come from, in androgyny, and that's a word that in different ways is more a part of our world and our vernacular more than ever. Was that the only thing? I mean, was that because of just the male female separation? I mean, was there more to that kind of crept in as you went along?
No, I think it was just me recognizing that there was two very distinct, different energies. And when I say distinct, different energies, I mean, I really just mean in the feminine vocal energy, not song wise, because there's some hard female stuff. Like there's a track called Demon Bitches that is fire. Like, I mean, that thing has got like, I don't know, man, you want to dance around the room or break shit to it. So I'm not talking about energy on a high or low energy, just the fact that it's female and male.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. It almost makes sense, I guess, in that sense, though. That's when I started looking at all that, and then you see that you've covered Prince on here. I mean, we're talking about one of the greatest androgynous artists of all time, and covering When You Were Mine, so tell me the story there, because again, that just fits so perfectly into what you're saying.
Yeah, that's so cool that you notice and that you like it. Thank you. And if you're going to cover a Prince song, it better be badass.
True.
So with that being said, I was talking to my buddy Lukas, who's singing on the track, And he actually had this idea for When You Were Mine. And I was like, When You Were Mine? I don't know. Cause that song's like, if the original is super poppy, like, and fast. When you were mine. And it's like, I don't know, dude. I love Prince, but there's a million more other songs I would rather fuck with. And when he brought that up, I was like, just wasn't sure. And he goes, dude, let's try slowing it down. And I was like, oh my God, hold on a second. We slowed it down. And for some reason, it got super dark and sexy. And the lyric really jumps forward because you don't really pick up, I don't think, that the lyrics stand out when it's going by sort of in a fast poppy kind of way. When it's slowed down, I feel that shit. And it immediately was like, this is it. That's the version. Let's do it. So that's where that happened, was taking something. And of course, if you're going to cover something, don't just do another version, like fuck with it.
Right.
You know?
Right. It instantly becomes one of those songs like, like The Police with Every Breath You Take or something, where it's like those lyrics that you've sang a million times, and then you turn around and go, I'm on fire. And you're like, oh man, this is way darker than I think I ever realized.
Completely. Yeah, that's what freaked me out. And I fell in love with it when it was slowed down and went, oh yes, this is a must.
Yeah. It's only too bad Prince isn't here to comment on it, because he probably would have.
Oh man, I know, and trust me, he was one of the guys on my collaboration list of people that I would absolutely die to work with, and obviously that's not going to happen and never happen. But whoa, that would have been fun.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Dude, let's do this song, but slowed down. I'll bet you I hope somewhere that he hears this and perhaps goes, fuck. Those guys did a better version than me.
I want to quickly hit a couple of the other tracks on here too, because huge props to Caviar and a Paper Plate. This song is hot. This is if you got to be like, oh man, that's the obvious single, right? I mean, this song is a big track right here. You got Mickey Avalon on it. Like, where did this song come from?
I had the track, and again, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I love Mickey. I've been a fan of his for a while. And I just wanted to work with him. And when the track was kicking around, I was like, I bet Mickey would smash this. And he came in and did just that. And I just love where he took it, lyrically, like Caviar on a Paper Plate it's so ghetto fabulous, like that it hurts. I mean, I can't say enough great things about him. He really he came in and delivered, and it's cool because I see a lot of his fans really love the track. They're like, you guys should do some more shit together. So that's cool, man.
When it works, it works. Well, you get so many different sounds on here, and I'll just kind of touch on some of these. I mean, Pretty showcases maybe the softest side of the record, and then you get Make It Back, where you're going full on pop, which is interesting in the two sides that you're talking about, because the album really does start abrasive, and by the end of it, you've got this huge dance celebration happening, not even commenting on the Post Malone remix yet, but by the time you make it to Make It Back, that's the thing that I imagine in the club, and everybody's got their hands up and dancing around.
That's one of those. And Julia from Playa, again, the first time I heard her voice, I was like, oh my God, I would love to work with her. But thank you for noticing the diversity, man. I just love that. I'm a fan of so many different styles of music, everything but country. I'm not a big fan of country music. My dad ruined it for me. He played it all the time in the car, and I was like, ah! Anyway, but thank you for recognizing that. And yes, there is I really feel like the record is a really wide spectrum of all the things that I love, but just my version, you know, of it. And I don't know what else to say other than there really is something for everybody on the record. And I did start the record off with Knock Me Down, because being who I am and you know, the drummer from Motley Crue, you've got these people that if they don't hear that right off the bat, they're not going to even give the rest of the record a chance. They'd be like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, and it's just something that I deal with and have dealt with since 2000, since I broke away from Motley to do Methods of Mayhem. I have just received nothing but like flack, and I just don't understand how people, you know, just don't let an artist be an artist and create and do whatever they're feeling, you know. And yeah, still do Motley. That's over there. And like this you'll love this. This is beautiful. The Post Malone track, the Tommy Lee track with Tyla. I remember, and I don't do it. I learned my lesson long ago. I don't really read comments, and my manager's like, you should read some of the comments. They're great. And I was like, okay. And so I go to read a couple, and of course, the first one I see is the most idiotic and reminded me why I don't read comments. Was like, oh, this is cool, but it doesn't sound like Motley Crue. And I was like, dude, it's Post Malone and Tyla and me. There's no Motley Crue anywhere here. Like, who even says shit like that? And I was just like, that's why I don't read comments. Where do they get this stuff?
It is interesting, and it's a bit like, you know, what you're talking about here, being able to do all of these different things, being able to try different styles, being able to just do something that's not Motley Crue. But you get a song like the song Tommy Lee.
Yes.
You know, and I start thinking about, you know, on one hand, you're you and you're just doing you and you're making this music that comes to you, that inspires you, but you're also kind of synonymous in a pop culture sort of way. And a track like that sort of proves that. I mean, if it allows you to, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like not be a caricature of yourself, but a persona, I guess, is what I'm getting at. I mean, do you feel like that allows you the freedom to throw on, you know, Thin White Duke, Ziggy Stardust every now and then and just be something bigger than life?
It is really, it's even hard to explain. Like, I'm honored to death that someone would even call a song Tommy Lee, and then to have a song be about you, and coming from guys that, like, fucking Post Malone is probably one of the biggest artists other than Billie Eilish, and like he's like, those are like, these are extremely talented and successful artists, and to get that back is, I mean, it's hard to even explain. It's it feels so cool, and it's like you're in the club. Like, you know, they've not only accepted you, they're fucking honoring you. And like, it's hard to talk about myself like that.
Sure.
And so it's difficult. I'm sorry. But it's cool because it really, it just acknowledges that what I'm doing, I'm on the right path. Like, you know, getting shout outs from a bunch of other hip hop artists, and my name pops up in a bunch of songs. That I get a kick out of that. I'm like, that's fucking rad, man. You know, it's weird even talking about it. I don't know.
You know, there are so few artists who get to be culturally relevant in multiple decades. And I mean, since your career took off, and you know, I'll say in the 80s, you've been culturally relevant in every single decade since then. I mean, that's a club right there. That's a club.
It is, man. It's one of those. It's that's a small group and a small club of people that are still cool that are doing that, and I'm fucking just honored to be, in it. And I don't even, man. I get embarrassed. I don't even know what to say.
Tommy's gonna start blushing. It's fine.
I don't know, man. I got a horseshoe stuck in my butt. I'm a lucky motherfucker, I guess. I don't know.
Oh man, Tommy Lee, congratulations again, Andro. Again, this is a powerful, fun record. I love following what you're doing every single time. So thank you for continuing to do it and for taking the time to talk about it too.
That's so rad. Thanks, Kyle. Thanks for having me, man. And I really do appreciate your recognition for the record. I can tell that you've listened to it, and that it's cool. And I appreciate interviews like this to actually talking about music and not the dumb shit.
So anytime.
Thank you, sir. Have a killer day. Be safe. All that good shit.
Awesome, man. Tommy, thank you so much. We'll see you around.
Okay, pal. Be good.
Right. Bye.